Welcome to the Entrepreneur Toolbelt podcast, the only podcast you'll ever need to get your business to the next level. This podcast is powered by Antoine Campbell Enterprise. What's up? It's your boy Antoine Campbell. I just want to let you know that our new acquisition manager training class starts Monday, June 28th. I want you there. If you're currently trying to do deals, if you're currently having a hard time closing deals, and you've been struggling to convince the seller to sign a contract with you, come to our acquisition manager training. I'm going to show you everything step by step, how to do all this over the phone, how to calculate offers, how to deal with objections, how to come up with good rebuttals, and how to close a seller on the phone without having to be a world-class renowned salesperson. If you're interested, visit CEO929.com/acquisition, www.CEO929.com/acquisition. See you at the class. What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 12 of the Entrepreneur Toolbelt podcast. It's the season finale for season 1. We'll be back in August once I come back from my business trip. Today, I'm interviewing, I got a guest that's going to be interviewing me. He's a part of my organization, my COO, all the way from somewhere in Philippines, France. Welcome, France, to the podcast. He's in here. You probably can't see him, but trust me, he's here. Introduce yourself, France.
Hi, my name is Franz. I'm from the Philippines. I'm a virtual assistant. I am the Chief Operations Officer for V1 Marketing and Training LLC. I've been around for quite some time, and I think a lot of people are quite familiar with my name as well because I'm always on the live events that we have and with the live streams. I'm always on the back end of the Entrepreneur Toolbelt podcast. So when you see a commercial, that's actually me pressing a button on our end. So today, what we are going to do is a little bit of a change. This time, we're going to interview the man himself, Antoine Campbell. He have interviewed a lot of entrepreneurs, some people that you may already know, and some that you might probably not heard of yet. But we would like Antoine to share some things today on how he actually gets started as an entrepreneur. A lot of our community or the people from our community would actually usually know him as the ROI giver, but Antoine wanted to be known as an entrepreneur. So could you tell us a little bit more about being an entrepreneur and how you actually get started with this kind of an idea?
Yeah, so I'm a third generation entrepreneur. My grandfather worked for himself. My dad worked for himself, still currently work for himself. And literally, I always wanted to work for myself. So as a child, I got a chance to work with my granddad, doing construction, demolition, pouring concrete, pouring foundations, doing roofs, tearing off roofs. And I knew right then and there I had a passion for real estate. When I was younger, I used to watch infomercials at night. So while my mom and dad said, "Hey, go to bed," I was the kid that stayed up at night watching this show called this channel called UPN. They just played a lot of infomercials, and I came across people like Carlton Sheets and John Beck, No Money Down, and then I just had a entrepreneur bug. My granddad one day was conducting business in front of me as I finished cleaning off the pickup truck, and the guy came up to him and gave him a $5,000 check just to gut out a house. And we did that work in maybe 3 hours, and he made $5K. And I looked at my granddad and said, "Wow, that's a lot of money." Like, granddad, I'm just curious. If he's willing to pay you $5,000 for 3 hours of your time, how much is he really making? And I knew right then and there I wanted to be an entrepreneur.
I see. And the first business that you ventured in when you actually started is real estate. Was it because of the inspiration that you've had from your grandfather as well?
Yeah. So to take it back, I actually started multiple businesses before real estate. As an entrepreneur, everything don't work out according to what you wanted to work out, right? So when I started my first business, it was a fundraiser business, right? It was called Flawless Fundraiser Group, and that business never really took off. And my idea was to go into these public schools and be able to offer the schools a fundraiser option and to partner with them to make a ton of money. And at the time, the business partner I had that I chose to do that business with, it just didn't work out. So instead of making any money from that business and putting myself in a legal nightmare, I elected to not even do the business at all, and it saved me a lot of headache by not doing that business. And then my second business, I started was a tag and title here in Maryland. So in the state of Maryland, instead of going to the DMV picking up your tags, you can come to a satellite office like us, and we'll provide you with the tags. And that was an amazing business. It treated me well for years. And one day I looked at LaShawn, my wife, and told her, "Hey, listen, LaShawn, you know, I love doing the tax thing, but it's a little stressful. I'm not emotionally involved anymore. I really want to pursue my real estate dreams." And she looked at me and said, "Do whatever it takes." And ever since then, I started doing real estate. I ain't never looked back.
That's great. That's awesome. And what how are you actually picturing yourself doing real estate and then doing other current businesses that you have to? If there is one business that you would like to or that you would have to let go of, what would it be?
If there was one business I would let go of that I currently am a part of, or just in general,
Just in general.
anything that deals with front end fulfillment, like anytime you got to buy inventory or anything like that. Every business that I've ever been a part of, I've been a part of a few businesses so far in my life. The businesses that I had to put up a lot of money, such as services and things like that, materials, I lost money, right?
Mm,
And the businesses that I was just strictly providing a service, that's why I made most of my money.
I see. And a lot of entrepreneurs, I've been hearing some stories, and even virtual assistants or anyone from the US as well. There is also like a tendency where they are trying to unlearn what they have learned back then, like the experiences that they've had. Are you that Do you have that kind of an idea as well, wherein you have to unlearn some things so that you can learn new ones? Or are you going to use the experiences that you've had before and use it to the current situations that you may be experiencing?
That's a good question, Frank. So I think that the stuff that I learned over the years has been really beneficial to me. So I don't try to unlearn things, and I definitely don't try to practice bad habits because as you start new businesses, them habits control you. So one of the things I do is I take my hard skills and my soft skills and I implement that in my business. So like when I left the hotel business, instantly I was able to go into customer service and crush it with my tag and title business, which is strictly relationship driven, and really dominate that because I understood taking care of customers, making it right, even if you're wrong. Always agreeing with customers, and just really putting the customers first. So I wouldn't try to unlearn none of that stuff, especially when I worked at Marriott. That was like the best time of my life, like from 2008 all the way to 2014, 13, 14 ish. Was the best years of my life. And honestly, I wasn't even making the money I'm making now, but I was happy. I felt I felt like I was being served. I felt like I had a purpose, and it gave me something to look forward to every day.
And I've heard this from you as well. Back then, you were like a manager in Marriott, right? When
Yeah,
you were when you were there, and there's kind of a leadership that you were telling me about, a certain a structure and how they are, or on how you deal with people. It's like right now, since you are dealing with virtual assistants too, what is like the common difference that you can think of that you can no longer implement in your current organization?
just being there physically, right? Being able to touch and feel, and not like that in that way, but being able to touch and feel the operation and to see the people in person, right? Like trying to manage a business with 50 plus people that you never met a day in your life is a challenge in itself. But when we worked in a hotel, it was strictly group activities, group training, development, leadership. They really pour millions of dollars into your development. And that's the one thing that makes me sad right now in this business world is that none of the entrepreneurs I come across, they don't really want to invest in their people or pour into their people or look at it from a 6 month perspective to say, hey, listen, I'm going to take these employees, I'm going to develop them over the next 6 to 12 months and really make a great employee out of them. They strictly driven on right now results, and if they don't get results in 2 weeks, they terminate them. And that's why most of these entrepreneurs out here haven't turned the page in their business because they haven't mastered them skills.
Yeah, I agree. And I think one of the reason why is that they think that it's more of a cost, but they're forgetting that it's an investment.
Yeah. It's always an investment. Everything with me is an investment, right? So you know that you're my COO. Like, okay, is this gonna make us better? Is this gonna drive the top line numbers? And if so, let's do it. You know, and that always been my attitude, and it's been working for me, and I'm gonna continue to do it until it stops working.
Right, because I know for sure that you keep reminding us, all of your employees, to always go on training on a daily basis, at least spend an hour a day, because that's how we are going to improve.
Training is everything. You know, like if you're out there watching this podcast, if you're not investing in training just as much as you're investing in your day to day, you're gonna get in trouble. You can be winning right now, you can be making a ton of money right now, but we all have our ups and downs. And the only thing that's gonna get you through the ups and downs is them skills, them core skills that's gonna help you push and navigate your business. Even if you're trying to develop new products, if you're trying to hire better people, the trainer gonna come in and help supplement that.
Right. So let's talk about something how you actually get started with the virtual assistant business. I think a lot of people have actually seen that scene while you were interviewing with Steve Trang,
Right.
and a lot of people doesn't know that story too. Could you share a little bit more about that on how you get started with the virtual assistant business?
Sure. So I always say, man, things happen for a reason. I never question anything that happened to me in my life, whether it's good or bad. And like opportunities be right there in your face, and you just got to make the best of it. So I was invited out to the Steve Train show. Honestly, even at that time, I thought I wasn't even worthy of being on that show. But comparing myself to other people, and that's the one thing I learned over the years. Stop comparing myself to people. Like I'm on my own journey. I'm on my own path.
Mm.
And when I got there, and he was just asking me basic questions, and I was giving him the detailed answers and broken down what I was doing in my business step by step. And by the time I got off that show and looked at my phone, literally my phone was blowing up, like DMs from everybody trying to figure out how could they talk to me to, put VAs in their business like I'm putting VAs in my business. And that's how it all started.
Just by a single DM, not a
one
single,
one
but a
one
lot.
single interview changed the
Right.
course to me, and maybe I'm over bragging, but one single interview changed the course of outsourcing for a lot of entrepreneurs around the world.
Right. Because if you did not show up to that interview, that you overthink that you're not worthy to be there, then we're not going to be here, I
Yeah,
guess.
that was the one time in my life where I was actually nervous. I was like, why am I flying in Phoenix, Arizona to talk about my real estate business? What's so important about me? And then I realized, like I said, man, God got a bigger purpose for me, right? You always being put in a good or bad situation, no matter what, and there's always something behind it. Everything is already pre-counted and calculated for you in your life. You just got to go through it and figure out, okay, how do I take advantage of this opportunity?
Right. And how did you get started? Why did you choose to work with a virtual assistant when you're still in when you were doing real estate? When you started doing
So,
real estate?
so I didn't like cold calling, honestly, and I learned about the cold calling thing, and I didn't like being talked to any type of way. So instantly I came from a business that had employees. So most of the people we deal with never managed an employee in their life. I did, so I understood that if I can create a process and a system and understand this process and system and translate it to what I understand to an employee, then I'm already able to hire an employee, right? So a friend of mine's named John Myers said, "Hey, bro, I know this girl. She got VAs from the Philippines." I'm like, I know about the Philippines because 40% of the people I work with in the hotel business was from the Philippines. They $3 hours. And I said, "Come again, $3 an hour?" He said, "Yeah." So I said, "Make the introduction." I met with her, and the one thing that I didn't like was the customer service, the rudeness, the attitude. It's just disrespectful the way she was doing business with me. I don't know because I was black. I don't know what it was, and I rarely say that, but I felt like that had a lot to do with it. And I just said, you know what? I don't even want to deal with you, but I like this VA. What if I just give you $100 as a finder's fee, and you just let me manage the VA directly? And she said, cool. And we hired that VA, and I ain't gonna lie. For the first 2 3 months, it was strictly building systems and processes to excuse myself. So that's one thing. If you don't take anything from this interview again today, if you can build a business as quickly as possible that can excuse you from the day to day of the operation, you're doing something right.
Right. And I think a lot of people are trying to rush things when it comes to building their operations. They sometimes forget the total idea as to why they're doing it and
Right.
what are like the fundamentals that they need to build. So what are those fundamentals that you built when you were actually building the systems during that first 3 months?
But first, I just want to let people know patience will be your best friend when it comes to building a business. You gotta understand, if you look at big corporations, let's talk about Apple for one quick second. Apple didn't really hit their stride until 2001, 2002 when they invented the iPad. What's the iPad, not iPad, whatever the device was. iPod. There you go. The iPod. That's when they hit their stride. They innovated something. So some of the things you need is patience. You need organizational skills, right? You need to have a clear vision. You need to start developing your processes and your systems as quickly as possible. And then you need to figure out, okay, even if it's just me, what are the systems step by step to get a customer from acquisitions all the way to a sale? And that's in any business, the same format. And once you figure that out, then you can start hiring and you can start growing and then you can start worrying about revenue. But I think too many people put revenue before everything. And then by the time they get a little money in from the revenue side, they fall flat on their face because there isn't no system to continually, predictably produce revenue.
Right. And a lot of people are actually, sometimes I think we have this discussed this back then as well, that we have spoken to a few people. They said that they were starting and then they want to automate their business right away.
Right.
So what are those things that are actually, I would say, realistic when it comes to like building a goal as to how they're going to automate their business?
That's a good question because most people are not realistic. Most people set these unrealistic goals on their business that they won't even do personally. Right? Ask yourself the things you're asking for employees you're looking to hire. Would you even do yourself? Right? If it came down to it, I would get on the phones and cold call. I would get on the phones and close people. Like I've done it. I continue to do it. But most of these people don't want any part of their business. They just want a 100% automated business, and that they're going to be making money 2 weeks from now, and that's impossible, right? So I just think that people just got to set realistic expectations for themselves and create milestones based on monthly, quarterly, and weekly goals, and they should be good to go.
Right. And also a lot of people that have come into our funnel, most of them are quiet and they're really building. I
Yeah,
think from the RI master classes that we've had back then, there were specific people who said that they haven't made a deal for like 8 months, but when they got it, they are continuing the stride.
yeah.
So what are
I didn't,
some?
I
Mhm.
didn't even tell you this, right? Not to cut you off. I'm sorry, but even when we did the cookout this weekend, like a lot of people approached me. Hey, bro, I finally got my first deal. I got my first deal, and these people been chasing it for six to 24 months. And like I told them, once you hit your stride, it's over after that. You just gotta be patient and wait your turn.
Yeah, because I think there were a lot of times when we have talked with Vicky. Shout out to
Mhm.
Vicky if you're watching. She said that she's been trying to chase this kind of a deal, and then once she got it, and then it started to come in, right? So
Correct.
what are some motivating things or words that you could actually tell our entrepreneurs who are watching today that will push them to continue if they will be having those kind of
I don't
troubles?
know if I can motivate people to do the work, but one of the things I would say is if you just in it for the money, stop it, quit. Like go get a job. But if you're in it for the long haul and you don't mind working 12, 13 hours days and you don't mind sweating and you can close your eyes and visual and see your future doing what you're doing, then continue to push forward. It's going to be days it's going to be even more tough. There's going to be days where you're doing nothing but figuring out things and solving problems. There's going to be times where you're going to lose more money than you make. But at the end of the day, it's nothing like working for yourself, being able to write yourself a check, and being able to do what you want to do, and no one tell you what to do. So I say keep pushing that if that's something you really want to do.
I agree because this is basically like the investment, and then I think that real estate is not going to go for another 20 years or how many years because it's a need, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Everybody need a place to lay their head. So until they figure out how to create a virtual house, and then you just hit a button, then some type of 3D house come up, and you feel like you in there, you're gonna need a place to stay.
yeah, and you would still need a lot for it, even though it's 3D.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Well, we've hit the 20 minutes mark for our podcast today. So we're going for a little break. And for those who are watching, if you have any question, if there's anything that you would like to clarify and you would like to pick Antoine's brain, you could just leave a comment and we'll flash it on the screen and then he'll answer it for you. So we'll be right back in a
Drop your
few.
question.
All right. Thank you.
What's up? It's your boy Antoine Campbell. I just want to let you know that our new acquisition manager training class starts Monday, June 28th. I want you there. If you're currently trying to do deals, if you're currently having a hard time closing deals, and you've been struggling to convince the seller to sign a contract with you, come to our acquisition manager training. I'm going to show you everything step by step, how to do all this over the phone, how to calculate offers, how to deal with objections, how to come up with good rebuttals, and how to close a seller on the phone without having to be a world-class renowned salesperson. If you're interested, visit CEO929.com/acquisition. www.CEO929.com/acquisition.
Every day, we open our eyes to fulfill our purpose. Advancing to the path unknown, driven by the will to achieve more. In these challenging times, the Antoine Campbell Enterprise strives to provide innovative leverage, using today's technology and exceptional talents, designed to give you an advantage in the real estate market for incredible results in your business. On that account, we have created a new system, custom for the real estate industry. It is a systematic course for real estate investors that provides you with all the knowledge on how to build a team, systematize, manage, and generate converting leads for your business at an astoundingly low cost. Utilizing virtual assistants with profound skills. Be part of the satisfied clients we have worked with over the last year. This is the VA Mastery System.
Welcome back to the podcast. We got my guy, France, the COO of Antoine Campbell Enterprises and V1 Companies, interviewing me today. This is our season finale. I'm taking a business trip to Florida for about 2-3 weeks, and then I'll be back, and then we'll continue putting out great content for you guys. If you got any questions, drop your questions below while we close out this podcast in the next 15 minutes.
Right. Okay, thank you. And by the way, our class for the acquisition management training is going to start on the 28th. So what we do in the acquisition management training is that we do it rapidly. So you'll have classes for Monday, Tuesday, and then we'll have a break on Wednesday and then Thursday and Friday. So what we do in the acquisition management training, if you have a hot lead or a warm lead that you cannot convert, we'll be more than happy to help you out. Just you can sign up at www.ceo929.com/acquisition. You will see all of the details there as well as the curriculum. So we have a question from Prior Group Investment Incorporated. What does the conversation look like when screening cash buyers?
The conversation, you just qualifying them. We asking them the tough questions. Hey, listen, how soon can you close? What type of financing are you looking for? Are you willing to put more on your plate right now if I bring you a deal? And that's all you want to know. The one thing in business, and most businesses, speed is your best friend. The quicker you do things and the quicker you implement things, you will make money. So you want to make sure you got cash buyers that's decisive to understand what they're doing. I just my cash buyer sent me a referral fee for one of the deals I sent to him that I let him work with a realtor with. And literally, you want to create them relationships where you're making money, even if you're not doing an assignment. You know, your reputation should be cashed in on, in my opinion.
All right. Okay, let's see if there's anyone else who has a question. So again, guys, if you have any question for Antoine, you want to pick his brain, you may go ahead and write a comment on where you're watching from. So where we left off earlier is we were talking about like the motivation and how people should continue with their business. This time, your ideas in my own opinion, they're too big, right? And sometimes it's like 50 people won't be able to like to fulfill it, but we're here. We're here
Right.
to support. Um, how would you, or how does your brain work in a sense of coming up with an idea? Do you like see something and then you would like to replicate it, or where's it coming from?
Man, I don't know. Like, I'm always a thinker. So, like, even now, just listening to this podcast and doing this podcast, I'm thinking about 3 hours from now. Like, that's just my mind, right? It's not me being rude. It's just, that's just the way I think. So, like, I'm always trying to improve something and I'm always trying to innovate on things. So, like, when I looked at the VA business, let's go back to the VA business model. I looked at the VA business model. The only way to get a VA, you go to Upwork, Fiverr, you get them type of VAs, or you go to a call center and they crush you for 12, $13 an hour. There wasn't nobody that was giving you VA at cost with a wholesale price, and then they still can't train. There wasn't no medium. You even get somebody that's not trained, or you get somebody that's kind of trained and they're going to overcharge you. So, like, just coming up with what solutions and businesses and products that solves people problems has always been my number one thing.
Right. Yeah. Yes. That's actually what we always talk about when I came in. It's always about like finding a problem and then solving it and giving them a solution. What's one big problem? Talking about problem, what's one big problem that you can see that a lot of people in their real estate investing or wholesaling is going to encounter in the next few months?
Um, uh, I say in the next few months, speaking less than 6 months, I'm assuming that's what you mean.
Yeah.
It's going to be everybody doing the same thing, right? And what it's going to come down to is skills. And if you're not trained on acquisitions and seller psychology and closing people and solving problems, and with a dash of customer service, right, and going above and beyond, and having this consider it done white glove mentality where they do in the hotels, you're not going to make it because there's going to be everybody and their mother trying to do what you're doing, and there's nothing special about what you're doing besides the attention to details. And I think that's the difference for the next 6 months.
That's actually true. A lot of people are like starting. Some people who just started are being successful already because they have learned it prior to them actually putting their business up, right?
Right.
So how would you? Is it like the way to think about it? Is it about beating these competitors, or what could be like the right mindset to deal with that if you have like a lot of people or wholesalers and you're working on one deal?
I mean, people say there's no such thing as competition. It's like a 50-50, depends on what day of the week is for me for that. But I do think that you should be competitive, and the number one priority is to make the customer satisfied. So if that's over delivering or over promising, then that's what you should do. Is that you taking money out your assignment fee to help with them moving to their new apartment? That's what you do. The more you do the right thing and the more you do the things that most people wouldn't do, the more successful you'll become.
Oh yeah, going the extra mile is like the best way to do it as a for like customer experience, right? But what would be like, how would you limit yourself if you already know that a certain client is already like taking advantage of you? What would be
You
like,
you,
go ahead,
you you
sir.
pick and choose your battles, right? And that's when it comes to understanding people's character, right? Shout out to my wife LaShawn. She gave me a master course over the last 12 years of teaching me about people's character and who to do business with, who to watch out for, and how to read people's body language. All of that great stuff that they don't teach nowhere. You have to go through life to figure that out. And she does a really good job. She's like a mastermind at that, understanding people's characters. And she'll tell you, "Oh, she's full of shit." I'm not going to reply back to her. She tells you, like, you just don't understand it. So when you're dealing with a customer or client, they're full of shit. You gotta ask yourself, is that money worth taking, right?
Mhm.
And if you know for a fact doing business with them will cost you more harm than good, then you should reconsider even doing business with them.
Right, because I think a lot of people sometimes they think that all of the things that they do is worth the money,
Right,
and they forget the customer experience that you were talking about earlier. Like if I would answer this kind of a question to you right now, I can charge someone, but if it's worth it, right, might as well just go for it if it's not going
right.
to be so tedious. And then we have another question from prior group investment. Do you work with institutional buyers?
Currently not right now, but we got some data put together where we know what they're buying, and we will be reaching out to them in the next 30 days. I'm putting together my team for Dispo Authority. We just created a disposition company that's really about to hit it hard with everybody. And we're going to be working with investors. My number one priority right now is to help the newer people understand the whole deal from the beginning to the end. And then what most people struggle with is selling that deal. So to get that deal sold and show them how to create relationships is ultimately the most important thing to me right now.
Right. And if you have some deals that you would like to be taken care of course, there still is going to be like any caveat or conditions about that. You may email the information at admin at dispoauthority.com. It's posted on the chat. We'll take a look at the property and then we'll get back to you to have a conversation. So you mentioned earlier it's like to help out newer people in the business. What are some goals that you actually have for that?
So my next 24 months will be dedicated towards entrepreneurship in general. What I realized doing this for the last 2 years, and you can attest to this, is that a lot of people come into this business and they underfunded. They don't have the money from their job to support their new business, or they're not making enough money in general if they do have an established business. So what I realized is that they need secondary and third businesses that can help lend them money and finance their new startups, such as wholesaling. So we're launching an affiliate program that's going to help people. If you're interested in making between $1,000 and $3,000 extra a month, come to that affiliate program. We're going to teach and show you exactly how to scale your business and bring in the extra money. We're relaunching First Deal Mastery. That was an amazing program for us, and it's going to be focused on helping brand new people who can't afford the $20,000, $30,000 a year coaching, but they need the $20,000, $30,000 a year coaching. So that's not really money driven for me. That's just helping people. So my missionary work is to help entrepreneurs. Startup entrepreneurs. That's my thing. I'm not the guy in church or in Africa on a missionary like campaign. I'm here in the streets trying to help brand new entrepreneurs get their business off the ground. So to me, if I do that, and if I can help 1,000 entrepreneurs close their first deal, whether it's through real estate or it's through starting up different businesses, to me, my work is done. My body of work will always be remembered.
That's awesome. That's very, very great. Because a lot of people, here's the thing. Sometimes you think that you can do everything on your
Right.
own. You'll go to YouTube University and then watch all of these videos. But what is your takeaway? What's your key takeaway after you watch that video? But at
Right.
this time, if you would sign up for like a mentorship program, or if you would just attend a simple webinar, that you'll have an access to a person who have dealt with a lot of things over the
Right.
past few years, then it will be beneficial for you because you can actually prevent those kind of problems in the
Right.
future for your own business.
You
Right.
know why mentorship don't work? You know why?
Why?
Because the people don't know the right questions to ask while they're being mentored. So you can have the best coach in front of you in the world, and if you don't know the right questions to ask because whatever you're going through, it's going to be ineffective. I don't care who that coach is.
And and why would that be though? It's like, of course, is it because that the mentorship cannot always like come up with like the questions, or
Because people think that it's a hold your hand done for you type of thing. If let's talk about wholesaling. If acquisitions is something I'm struggling with, but I'm good at talking to people and I'm a good personality guy, then I'm a crush in disposition as long as I understand the fundamentals. But acquisitions, I'm gonna need more mentoring and hands-on. This is how you deal with it. This is how you come up to offer. So I'm gonna need more intellectual skills to really fulfill my acquisition obligations. And I think that's why mentorship don't work for a lot of people because they don't understand that part of it.
right? Because it's not about the mentor, but it's about the mentee or the one
Exactly.
who's in need of coaching.
Exactly.
Right?
And you just got to have a game plan, right? You got to say, you know what? And you got to give yourself timers. In the next 6 months, this is what I want to be. And this is how I'm going to get to where I want to be.
That's true. That's definitely true. And this kind of things or conversation that we have, we're going to talk about it once we have our webinar for Deal Mastery. So I would suggest for everybody to go to CEO www.ceo929.com. You may sign up as a request a call for one of the buttons there. You can just click it, and then we will be sending you more materials. Um, you are going to be subscribed to our newsletter. So any news for what we have been discussing today is going to be part of that. So thank you for that. Thank you for that, boss. Now we are on in the part of this episode where I would ask you about your Mount Rushmore. So we have created a graphic here,
You
and
asked me first, where you see me in 10 years, then Mount Rushmore.
I'll ask you later. This is like a mix up,
Okay.
but
Do your
we'll
thing.
do the Mount Rushmore first. So
Cool.
let me put it up on the screen. So would you be able to introduce to everybody who are these people?
Yeah, so we're gonna go from right to left. Right meaning the guy Ted Leonsis. I picked him because he's an entrepreneur. Has a great story. He's from Brooklyn, New York. He's a Greek. And he owns the Washington Wizards, the Washington Mystics, the Washington Capitol, and the Capital One Arena. And I always looked up to him since I was a little boy and said, "Hey, listen, if this guy can start off and start off as at AOL as an executive and then become an entrepreneur for um, the family who originally owned the Wizards, um, and then become this breakout entrepreneur, I surely can do the same thing." Then we have next beside him, Steve Wynn. He's the owner of Wynn Resorts. He owns hotels and resorts over in Macau, Las Vegas, all types of places. And he's a entrepreneur. He went to Las Vegas with nothing and literally helped mold and shape Las Vegas to what it is today. So he's to me a pioneer slash innovator. He took the gaming industry and just took it to a whole nother level. Then we have this guy right here, Bill Marriott. Shout out to Bill Marriott. He's still alive. I think he lives in Chevy Chase, Maryland, if I'm not mistaken. He is the son of the founder of the Marriott Company. Marriott Company, one of the biggest hotels company in the world. They just made a couple of big acquisitions in the last 4 years, so that really put them over to thousands and hundreds of thousands of rooms that they have available across the world, just to have access to that database. And if you're a hotel operator, it's a thing to come. So that's what my 10-year goal is, to become a hotel operator and let the Marriott brand manage that hotel. And then we have one of my newest people that I've been looking into, being mentored by Brandon Dawson. He created a bunch of companies that went public. He started from scratch, self-made. He currently owns and co-owns a company called Cardone Ventures, and he's teaching us how to scale our business, how to exit our business. He's the first person I ever heard talk about the word EBITDA. Like, no one's teaching us that stuff. He sold his business 77 times EBITDA for $150 million, and he's involved in a lot of other businesses. And I'm loving what he's doing. And ultimately, that's why I want to take my Antoine Campbell enterprise to the same way he's doing. He's helping other entrepreneurs scale their business to the next level.
Right. So what do you actually get, or what did you, if you were to pick one from those people, which one would be like your number one?
Brandon, all day.
Brandon.
And the reason why is he's a little more relatable, right? He's not as older as the guy, so he kind of like understands what us millennials go through, and he understands my culture, my personal culture, where I'm from. So, like if I'm able to talk to him and do business with him, it won't be such a culture barrier. I think that's a big part of getting to the next level, making sure there isn't any culture barriers.
Right. Yeah, that's true. And I like him too, because we went to to their event, and we've actually learned a lot.
Yeah,
Because in being an entrepreneur, you might think that you already know everything, but sometimes it will be like, oh, I just know like 20%. No one's
correct.
perfect. Right. Okay. Now this is the time that I'm going to ask you. So it's a new decade. It's
Right.
2021. So what do you see yourself doing in the next 10 years, or what do you see is it that you'll be accomplishing in the next 10 years?
The next 10 years, at the end of the decade, I see myself owning one of the biggest outsourcing agency in the world, and hopefully taking it public, right? Um, Owning that agency, setting up offices in the Philippines, Going to the Philippines, creating opportunities for people to really show their talents. There's a lot of talented people overseas that we don't understand. So being able to create like a in-person learning lab, owning multiple hotels, owning a mountain. Like I want to build my own resort on a mountain. I want to own a bunch of land in Florida. I want to own a cattle farm. I want to own citrus farms, lemons and oranges and things like that, and literally have properties throughout the Bahamas and the Caribbean, and just never like really stay at a particular place. Like I just move and do what I want to do, and ultimately have my own plane. Like I believe if I get my own plane, I'm able to touch more people.
Right. Yeah, obviously. Well, that's a great goal. People might think that it's too much, but it's not. It's like a goal, right?
Yeah. The thing about it, if you make your goals attainable, then are you really living life? See, I get a high and a rush out of chasing something that I know most people may laugh at me about. Because if I do hit it, I'm like, yeah, motherfucker, look what I did. And that's just an alpha thing. I think you can't be alpha and acting like your goals isn't important. Your goals are always going to be important.
That's true. People would think that normally that the goal should be something that you will be able to hit, but it's like not at all, right? It's like a long-term thing that you need to look at because you need to motivate yourself. This is
Correct.
where you should be at the end of the decade or whenever you wanted it to be.
Correct.
So what are some final words that you would like to say to our people, since this is going to be like the final episode of our Entrepreneur Toolbelt podcast season 1?
Hey man, if this your first time watching this episode of the Entrepreneur Toolbelt podcast, go back and watch episode 1 through 11 and focus on yourself. Create a 6-month plan, how you going to finish out the year strong, and set bigger goals that's going to make you scary. Like it's going to make you don't want to go to sleep because you're so excited to hit them goals. Other than that, stay focused, stay disciplined, and I see you back in August.
Okay. So that's it, everybody, for our show today. Again, if you have any question about our services or if you would like to do business with Antoine, you can text him at 202-335-3322. You can follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Just type in CEO929, then just click follow, subscribe. And if you wanted to be part of our newsletter, you can go to www.ceo929.com. Most of our updates will be sent through email. Regarding the affiliate program, regarding the Dispo Authority, and the JV deals that we're going to do with you. So all of those technicalities, it will be on the website. So thank you again, everybody, for showing up today, and we'll see you next time.
Appreciate you. See you in August. What's up with it? It's your boy Antoine Campbell. Listen, if you got any deals you need help moving, you stuck trying to figure out how to find buyers in the whole disposition thing, we got buyers in all the 50 states. Text me now, 202-918-4887, and let us get that deal off your plate and work together. Look forward to working with you. Text me right now, 202-918-4887. Hey, wholesaler, how you doing? This is your boy Antoine Campbell. I am the owner of Lead Factory. The Lead Factory is a program that allows you to stop worrying about sellers cussing you out, dealing with your lead generation, trying to figure out how to work silly ass Mojo or call tools, and let us step in and handle all of the work for you. Are you sick and tired of trying to get all of the front end shit right in your business? Well, allow Lead Factory to come in and step in and help you out, and you're only talking to motivated sellers. You can get access to this program for as little as $1,600 a month commitment. But we provide the VA, we provide a dollar, we do all the management, we take care of everything that you're currently struggling with, and you pay a flat fee knowing you don't have to worry about anything else but talking to motivated sellers. If that sounds like somebody like you, call me now or visit the website right now. This podcast is sponsored by V1 VAs. If you're looking for a virtual assistant, we are the number one place to come and get your virtual assistants. I don't care if you're a realtor, if you run a car agency, if you run an ad agency, if you are a wholesaler, I don't care what you is. If the position requires you to use a computer or a working telephone, I can get you somebody in that position for $4 an hour, fully trained, ready to go. Stop wasting time. and get to the next level with your business by generating more money and doing less and spending less on labor costs. Text me now, 202-335-3322. The time is now to take your business to the next level. What's up? It's your boy Antoine Campbell. I just want to let you know that our new acquisition manager training class starts Monday, June 28th. I want you there. If you're currently trying to do deals, if you're currently having a hard time closing deals, and you've been struggling to convince the seller to sign a contract with you, come to our acquisition manager training. I'm going to show you everything step by step, how to do all this over the phone, how to calculate offers, how to deal with objections, how to come up with good rebuttals, and how to close a seller on the phone without having to be a world-class renowned salesperson. If you're interested, visit CEO929.com/acquisition, www.CEO929.com/acquisition. See you at the class.